right, welcome in everybody to another Esports at NC State stream. Today we have our first playoffs game for the Marvel Rivals A team. I am joined by
Nugget.
And I am Mega Ninja 44, as always, also known as Eli. Exciting match today. This is the first match for playoffs. A lot of teams are getting into their playoffs. You know, I know that a lot of the Overwatch teams are. I know Rainbow is, and you know, today is going to be us catching the Marvel Rivals game. So, you know, I'm pretty excited to watch it, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping it should be a bit more of a closer match. Last match that was streamed, it was against. It was like our team, who was a very high-rated team, versus one of the lower-ranked teams. So the match was a little one-sided, but I still think both teams put up a good fight. But now we're in playoffs. I believe we're seed number 2, and we're up against seed number 7 in this first match. So I think it should be a pretty close game. We're moving over to the bracket real quick.
Yeah, as you can see, NC State is going to be number 2 right now, going against Stevenson University A today, the number 7 seed. NECC does this a little differently. We are going to be in a single elimination bracket. So the second that NC State drops a single game, they are going to be moving down to that lower section where that bronze is attainable. We'll just have to see at the end of the day. Well, first they have to win this match, and then we'll see what happens from there. We are the last team, so if we do win this, we will be going against UF Green. You know, we have gone against them previously, which I think we have won. And so we'll go into that match, and then if we win that one, we go to the finals. Otherwise, we'll go to the bronze. It looks a little funky, but it is, trust me, a pretty normal single elimination background. We can throw it over to the team roster for NC State Marvel Rivals. We're looking at, you know, the classics. I am Arch, Kane on that Vanguard line, Nephrons, of course, with Igor, on that Duelist, and Dragonfloss and Kronos going to be on the Strategist back line. Pretty strong team lineup. We've seen these players a lot. We know a lot of their signature picks, and I'm pretty excited to see them play some really good Marvel Rivals today.
2-2-2 is just always a very solid team comp in any team shooter that's existed, because you've got one tank for the front line, one to help protect your supports, got good healing output, got good DPS output, very good all-rounder kind of team.
Yeah, I know that we have a lot of subs in our backline if we so need to. We can take a quick look at the team that we're going up against, Stevenson University A. We are seeing Acclamation on that Vanguard along with It's Shosho. Apologies if I mispronounce any of the names. I didn't do this beforehand. And Vision of Snipes, Pinkie Pie, Sizzy, and that's just a bunch of the... That's just a bunch of letters from the later half of the alphabet, but, you know, I will try my best to pronounce it when we get into the game. Apologies for right now. I'm gonna say V. I'm gonna say V myself personally. But we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see, like, who's playing the second support on this team, because clearly just Cloak and Dagger, that's not going to work out for them.
No,
they're
yeah,
obviously going to be
absolutely.
playing other support.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't really survive with one support in your roster, but I think we have our map selection underway for this first map. We are going to be going to Hell's Heaven, the Domination map. You know, a Domination, a pretty normal start. It's kind of similar to what we see in a control point on Overwatch, something like that. So I'm excited to see Hell's Heaven come through. You know, we have the draft and ban phase coming up soon, which I'm pretty excited to see. We're just waiting for a couple of players. I think we're waiting for us to be ready, actually. I think we're holding them back a little bit. So I think we are going to be getting a couple of players in the lobby just pretty soon. I'm pretty excited to watch this game. I'm excited to see how far we can make it in these playoffs. Can we win the whole thing? You know, this is Division 3. So I am going to be interested to see what happens at the end of the day for the Marvel Rivals team. You know, can Arch and his core take it to all the way? Can they make it to these finals? Can they win the whole thing? Can they win their division? That's something that we need to see. This is their first I believe this is their first time in the NECC tournament,
Yes,
because
it
Marvel
is.
Rivals is a relatively new esports. So it's definitely like getting its legs still, and hopefully NC State can rise through the ranks. I know currently we're like third standing in the other tournament that we play on Saturday, Collegiate Rival Series. Shout out Collegiate Rival Series. So NC State really dominant right now. I believe we were going to be going into the game now. We'll be going into that band draft phase. Who are you thinking we're going to be seeing on these bans and also these protects?
Well, I'm feeling like there's probably going to be a Daredevil ban, especially after that game last time. But I actually talked to Arch a day or two ago, and apparently they haven't been doing too well against Daredevil even in scrims. So I feel like they're probably just going to permaban Daredevil, play it on the safe side. I'm really hoping they will, especially since we've got someone in the enemy team hovering it. Just going to have to see what happens.
Yeah, we are going to see that first ban come through from Stevenson. Going to be banning out the Punisher. Emma Frost going to be banned from NC State. So this allows Stevenson to actually protect the Daredevil if they so choose to. Interesting to protect the Bucky also, in my opinion. But we'll have to see what Stevenson wants to protect from their own side. Maybe they do protect that Daredevil if they have been doing research on NC State. We'll have to see what happens. I'm not getting a lot of information from what Stevenson wants to play, considering we only see... Ooh, that's a Thing Protect. Very interesting. Okay. Okay, that is definitely interesting. Not a lot of Thing is being seen right now. A lot of Emma, Magneto, a lot of Strange, a lot of Groot, a lot of Venom for the dive. Thing isn't somebody that you see typically ran, so it's quite interesting to see that Protect come through. And the Hella ban going to be next from Stevenson. So really targeting Nephron's picks right now, getting rid of that Hella and also the Punisher. So we'll see what.
I mean, we've seen what Nephron's on Hella can do, so that's pretty solid ban. But I don't think that's going to shut down NC State.
No, God, no, absolutely not. I think Nephron still has some things in his back pocket, even though they're both banned. But we are going to be banning out the Rocket Raccoon next. Pretty powerful support. I think the amplifier is pretty strong, buffing up the damage. I think they recently changed it, so it does like 40% more damage now or something ridiculous like that.
I think so.
Also, with the beacon, being able to resurrect one person every 45 seconds is pretty ridiculous in team fights without you actually having to do anything. And we're going to see the last Protect from NC State going to be on that Magneto. We'll have to see what Stevenson chooses to do. Luna as the final Protect, so we are going to be seeing that support finally being kind of looked at here from both sides, the Luna Protect and the Rocket Band. But honestly, they haven't been touched all too much. No look at the cloak and no looks at the Cloak and Dagger. And something else I'm kind of concerned about is the fact that I don't know how much information they have about NC State, but Arch's Strange is something that's dangerous. Maybe they're going to use it on this last ban. No, Psylocke. That is okay.
Has anyone played Psylocke?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think so. I haven't.
It could just be maybe they don't do well against Psylocke, so they're playing it safe. But
yeah, especially against all of the NC State players. They're going to be 6 stacking on the Psylocke, so that's going to be quite interesting to say the least. We are going to be seeing an interesting composition. Nephron's going to be on that Iron Fist instead of the normal hit scan that we see out of him, and Vision of Snipes is going to be on that Daredevil. So let's see how NC State is able to adapt to the last time we watched them go against a Daredevil. It was a little scary to watch, so we'll have to see what happens.
I feel like they've gotten some more practice in. Maybe the practice didn't go too well, but they've gotten new information, they've gotten new practice. They might be able to adapt this.
Yeah, interesting comps from, I think NC State's comp is a little bit more traditional. Running that Bucky, running, the Phoenix is an option when the Hella and the Punisher is banned from the side of NC State. The Mag and the Strange frontline, and then the Luna Snow Invisible Woman backline. Stevenson running a really interesting comp, in my personal opinion. Running the Storm with the Jeff, going for that Jeff-NATO combination. And also with that Thing Venom, a little interesting, especially with that Daredevil. Maybe going for like more of a dive comp. So we'll have to see how NC State plays around this.
They've got a very powerful team-up trio with the Storm, Venom, and Jeff. Storm allowing Jeff to get a lot more healing in with his team-up. And then the Jeff-NATO team-up is just kind of absurd. It's you have to use 2 ultimates for it, but it can kill through basically everything.
Yeah, it does a lot of damage. Jeff NATO just kind of swallows everybody and does so much damage. They are going to be meeting on this right side of the map. Going to be looking at the Star-Lord, who actually, okay, Pinkie Pie is going to swap off of, what were they on before? I think they were on, okay, wow. Nefrons is taking so much damage from this thing right now. Daredevil's going to be inside of the team, doing so much damage, but going to be taken out from Kane on that Magneto. Venom's going to try to dive in, going to be actually taken inside a little bit, going to be taking so much damage, it's going to go down to Kronos, and it looks like NC State's going to keep pushing with this aggression, and NC State is actually going to be able to cap this first point. A full team wipe likely from the side of NC State, not going to be able to find, oh yeah, not going to be able to find that last kill, but pretty powerful stuff. Stevenson did cap first, did able to get 10%, but NC State now going to be able to stabilize, keep this percentage rolling from them.
It was honestly just absolutely beautiful team fight from the side of NC State, because they really clumped together and fought as a unit, which really shut down that initial Daredevil dive. And then by the time Venom, who was too busy trying to cap the point, dove in, he dove in alone, leading to both of them dying and losing the fight.
Yeah, no more Daredevil going to be seen from the side of Stevenson. They decided to give that up. They are going to be on that Bucky now, along with a Magneto instead of the Venom. So we are going to see a little bit of swapping here. However, the Punisher, the Bucky ult from NC State is going to come through. Not going to be able to connect on anybody just yet, but gets a reset onto that thing. So he is going to be able to have that reset if he so chooses to pop it. I don't think he's going to pop it just yet. All right, there's going to be the next connection. He's going to hit onto 2 players. Maybe he is able to get that reset off of the... Oh, man, the Phoenix almost got the reset off that Storm, but able to keep alive, so the Kraken Impact is going to run out. However, Acclamation is going to be taken out on that mag. So NC State is going to keep pushing, keep making sure to get these kills later and later, while the point still keeps ticking upwards.
And once again, just another very dominant showing on the defensive side of NC State. They're really playing together as a team. They're taking those off angles, targeting who they need to, conserving ult use, only using 1 or 2 per fight. They've got control of this game right now.
Wow. The thing gets canceled because of how much damage he's taken, and it looks like the Kraken Impact is going to come back from Stevenson, but it's not going to be able to actually get any kills. Not resets are going to be coming through. The Phoenix is able to get the kill, and you do have that ultimate available if you so choose to. Arch is going to be having this ult, but it looks like they're going to just keep pushing up, and Nefrons with a triple kill on the board is going to be looking for even more. Gets a 4th onto the Jeff, and Stevenson is in their spawn right now. The strange swap is going to come through, but it's not going to matter. NC State takes that first map pretty cleanly.
Very, very dominant showing from NC State. Very glad. It looks like they have learned how to play against Daredevil. They played pumped up, played as a team. I also do think there's a bit of a misplay on Stevenson's side. The Daredevil and the Venom did not dive together on that initial push, which really singled both of them out, leading to both of them dying. But those deaths did make them swap, which I think is better for NC State. But they would have done fine either way, I think.
Stevenson doesn't have a kill.
Oh,
that's
a little unfortunate.
You know, as a professional commentator of the sport and somebody who is pretty adamant about this, you need kills, actually.
Those tend to be important.
Yeah, no, you definitely need to get those kills. So it's a little interesting to see none of them from the side of Stevenson. Hopefully they're able to band together and be able to get a kill. They do have that Jeff NATO online, so that's pretty much a guaranteed, you know, team win if you're able to use it properly. It's kind of hard to use it, you know, improperly, but, you know, maybe Stevenson can amaze me today. We'll have to see.
There's just something that's not working on their side, but we're just going to have to see if they can figure it out, which I feel like they can if they've made it this far. But if nothing changes, NC State's probably going to just keep dominating these holds.
You know, Pinkie Pie is kind of playing a little bit of Mystery Heroes right now. Going to be on that blade now. A huge Dr. Strange ult from the side of Arch is going to allow Nefrons to find 3 kills off of him, and they're going to keep pushing with this aggression. Going to be looking at that Jeff next, and he's going to be taken a little bit low, but going to be able to back up for right now. And Stevenson is going to have to get a re-grip. A huge ult from Arch is going to allow Nefrons to get so many picks, and Igor is going to be able to get the kill onto the Jeff. V is going to be taken out, and it's going to have Stevenson having to regroup. Oh, do you get that hook? Oh, it's a beautiful hook onto the blade, and he's going to be taken out, actually. That's a huge... you can't allow your teammates to die like that if you're the side of Stevenson. You need to stay together as 6. Otherwise, you're just going to get picked like that from the Bucky, who's going to just poke everybody in. I mean,
the enemy team's got a Bucky. You can't afford to push forwards alone like that. You're going to get hooked. You're going to get killed. That's just how it works.
Oh, Igor is gonna go down. Is it Igor or Igor? I think it's
I
Igor.
think
I think I got a
it's
DM about that. I
uh,
apologize, Igor. There's the Storm Ult gonna be coming through. Phoenix Ult is gonna be used in retaliation. Gonna be looking to find anybody right now. Gonna be throwing it out of this backline. Oh my gosh, and the Storm just explodes. The Jeff Ult is not going to be able to combo within time, and NC State is going to keep up this aggression. I think we have found something that counters out the Jeff NATO, and it's simply going to be a Phoenix Ult directly at its cranium.
the very good old. It was kind of a bit of a waiting game, seeing who was gonna land their ult first, and the storm broke first, and they paid for it.
Yeah, NC State. I mean, this Jeff is in the back line, but it doesn't really matter. He's sure Stevenson's got a couple of picks now, and they are going to be on that board in terms of final hits, but it doesn't really matter. NC State's got 4 ults for this next fight, and all they really have. Pinkie Pie gonna again swap over to that main more. Jeff gets taken out late or early in this fight, actually. You know, I guess you could say late or early, depending on what time of day it is for you. I hate daylight savings personally, but we are going to be looking at the side of Stevenson trying to push up, but their Strange is going to go down first, and that's a Kraken Impact is going to be used. Luna Snow ult is going to be used in retaliation. Arch is going to be trying to drop. Once this Luna ult is finished, they are going to be looking. However, Kane with 2 kills with the Meteor and the rest of Stevenson is going to fall by the wayside. The Jeff falls. The Shark is going to be reduced to ash, and NC State takes this in a beautiful 2-0.
It was a very great showing, very knowledgeable use of ultimates. Because like I knew the Phoenix ult counters like creations and stuff like that. I didn't know how it interacted with Storm. But apparently it just destroys it.
Yeah, just Nephron's getting another MVP, just added to his like collection. You know, it's a typical day, and you know the sky is blue in terms of Nephron's having that MVP. 11 final hits on his side, 23-0, not a single death, 10k damage. I mean, Stevenson just kind of got manhandled there by the side of the DPS from NC State. We're gonna have to see, you know, now it's gonna be Stevenson's map pick, and they're gonna be, you know, they're gonna have to go back to this drawing board a little bit in terms of the ban and the drafting. You know, who do you protect, who do you ban? You know, Stevenson did some really interesting protects and bans when we saw them. We are gonna, you know, we did see the Thing protect, which they didn't end up playing after the first round, and then the Psylocke ban, which NC State has never done ever in their entire lives. So, you know, it's definitely interesting to see that come through. We are going to be looking to get our next map in, but while we do that, we are going to throw it to a quick break. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back with more Marvel Rivals in just a couple of minutes. All right, welcome back, everybody. I know it was a short break, but we are going to be going into Central Park now. So Stevenson has taken us to Central Park. NC State is going to be starting on the attacking side. Stevenson, you know what? They kind of got beat down a little bit. They may have had 3 final blows in total, which is, not a very large number to have in a team-based hero shooter. But we'll have to see what they respond with. How do they want to do these bans? Ban already coming through from NC State onto that Emma Frost. They really don't want to deal with that character. I would also not like to be seduced by the White Queen. We'll have to see what Stevenson wants to do in return.
Emma Frost is just a very dominant tank, just able to shut down a lot of characters' ultimates, really able to take down just like a lot of characters in one hit, taking so much space, very powerful ultimate. Not very fun to play against sometimes.
Oh god. No, if I had $1 for every time I wanted to pop ult inside of that, and I, couldn't because I was walking towards her, I would have I'd have enough money to maybe buy a legendary skin in this game. Stevenson is going to be protecting the Star-Lord. That is okay. I mean, I think Pinkie Pie did choose that at one point. I think it is on his wheel of heroes that he likes to choose. The Bucky Protector is going to come through from NC State, so they do want, Igor on that Bucky. Rocket Band coming through from NC State again, going to be, making sure that Resurrection Beacon, that I think it's the Sia Beacon. What is it? CYA Beacon?
That's the ult. The Revive is BRB.
Right, yeah. God, the technical terms for this stuff, I just am not a master at just yet.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much in this game.
There's so much, exactly. Mag Band coming through from Stevenson, so they don't want to deal with Kane on that Magneto this time. They're kind of, not looking at the more important things, which is going to be, how do we shut down Nephrons? Unfortunately, I don't think you can. I don't think there's enough bans in the world to shut him down. The Venom Protect is going to come through from Stevenson, so I think we are going to be speedrunning how many deaths we can get in a map. If, NC State is able to play around this. We're waiting from the side of NC State for their Protect. Do you protect maybe your Strange? Do you protect? Okay, the Hela Protect is going to come through. So we are going to be seeing Nephrons on that Hela. We're going to see, hey guys, you saw me on Phoenix. Now watch me on Hela, honestly. So I'm pretty excited to see that. Jeff Band coming through last from NC State. Terrified of that team up. And the Namor Band from Stevenson. So clearly they didn't watch last match. Because I don't think we've played a single little bit of Namor. Maybe they're just tired of seeing it. A little bit of off-rolling here from the side of NC State. Arch is going to be on. Wow, okay. I think a little bit of BM
definitely just messing around.
A little bit of BM, I think, to say the least. NC State is going to be on that attack first, so that is going to be beneficial to this. They are going to be running those 4 duelist and... Please don't tell me they're running 2 tanks, 2 vanguards. Please don't say it. Oh, Nephrons is going to be on support. Oh, I just wiped a sweat from my brow, actually.
We've seen them do this before. They just kind of pick whatever at the start. They're probably figuring it out. Right before the match starts, they're going to all lock in their character. But I'm honestly surprised we didn't see a Strange ban, considering the huge Strange Arch hit just the previous round. Because that is one thing that Arch is really good at with Strange, is just hitting those ultimates, because Secret Tech Strange Mains don't want you to know. His ult is actually almost entirely reactable with like every single one. So being able to hit that consistently is pretty hard to do, but it looks like he's not going to get to play it because Kane needs another character to play, so we're going to see the Angela coming back out. Going to try and kidnap one of the enemy tanks, pull them into the team, see if they can get an early pick.
Yeah, I've been pretty aggravated with Angela in my ranked games. Getting kidnapped on cooldown is never really fun, unless you have like Stockholm Syndrome or something. Stevenson going to be running a really interesting comp. Going to be running the Groot with the Adam Warlock, so we'll have to see. Okay, Nephrons is going to be taken out first immediately. Going to be taking so much damage because of the wall and also because of the Adam Warlock spam. Arch is going to be on this Angela. Going to be trying to look for some kind of kidnap, but not going to be coming through just yet. The Venom is going to be, or sorry, not a Venom, excuse me. The Groot is going to be trying to shoot, try to, make sure that they're not able to get in all too far. Bucky's going to look for a hook here. Not going to be able to find anything just yet. Going to just kind of hook the ghosts in his head. Oh, that Angela's going to be taken a little low, but he's going to be kept alive because of the Adam Warlock healing. And NC State right now, nothing's really happening from the side of NC State. They're not really getting any momentum. They're not really doing anything. Oh, a big hook onto this Groot. Going to be doing so much damage to him. And the kidnap is going to come through. But NC State is not going to be able to get that kill. However, the Angela decides to get invested also, and is going to be taken out. and NC State is going to get the go-ahead to start engaging onto this objective. Going to be looking at this point. Oh, beautiful Strange Ult from the side of NC State. The Luna Ult is going to be used, or the Mantis Ult, excuse me, is going to be used, but it's not going to be able to find anything, and NC State decides that they want to keep these kills going. The Luna Ult comes through from the side of Stevenson. They are going to be taken out because of this Hell Ult right above the door, and NC State is actually just stat padding with how many kills they're getting right now. Oh my god. Nephron's on the Tella is able to just shut down so many ults. So much damage comes through from Stevenson, and Kane gets another kill into the Adam Warlock. And I mean, that's gonna be that first point. It took NC State a little bit of time, but you know, they are still gonna have 4 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock in order to get this next objective. And Shosho is gonna swap. Okay, well, V just, you know, dies in the middle of nowhere. That's not great. Pinkie Pie is gonna have that Star-Lord ult online. Is he on controller?
Looks like it. Yeah.
You know, I've heard that a lot of Rivals players play on controller, but you know, I have a simple question. You know, why? Honestly, like I don't really understand it. You know, I guess it could be, you know, the use of aim assist, but I mean, if you rely on that, then, you know, maybe, you know, never mind. No. Stevenson is going to be flanking with this Star-Lord ult. Going to be trying to look for something. Arch is going to have that Angela ult online. Going to be getting a lot of damage, a lot of kills here, and this Star-Lord is just kind of AFK in the backline right now. Nobody else is going to be able to follow up if he decides to pop this ult. He's going to be looked at by a lot of people. Nephron's is going to be taken out, and Arch is going to be trying to get that revenge kill. And, you know, that's going to be the second point almost as quickly as, you know, it started.
Already pushing through, getting that first point. Getting the extra time, already more time what they started with. Once again, we saw that last game.
Yeah, I mean, 5 minutes on the clock. Arch is trying to go for a kidnap on that Thor, not going to be able to find anything. And NC State did pop a couple of ults there, but, I mean, it was pretty much just Arch's ult. Nephron's going to be a little bit behind on ult charge. I feel like they're targeting him a lot, but...
I mean, we have 4 ults, so there are 2 ults currently.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've been just getting our ults a lot faster, but having to use them a lot less, which has been just absolutely destroying this defense.
The Star-Lord ult is going to come out from Stevenson here, and it's actually not going to be able to find anything because of the Invisible Woman ult from Kronos. And NC State is going to be pushing up with these kills that are coming through. Kraken Impact is going to be utilized. The Mantis ult is going to be coming through. Also, the Luna ult from NC State is going to come through. And there's just so many ults on my screen right now. It's like I'm watching a kaleidoscope. The Cloak and Dagger ult is going to be utilized next. And NC State is not going to be able to kill anything in this unless they're able to get this. Maybe they get this ult on. However, Sizzy just dies in their ult. Pinkie Pie is going to go down next, and NC State is going to keep this push going as quickly as it was stopped from the side of Stevenson. Now, a lot of ults were popped in that engagement. Too many for me to count and think of right now. But we'll have to see. NC oh, God, and this late kill on the show is so bad. I mean, do you even have a touch here if you are the side of Stevenson? That's the real question. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock. And
absolutely pushing them back into their spawn. That is one thing that I've noticed NC State has been pretty good at doing, is holding them at their spawn. Each time they get some early picks, I see both Nephrons and Igor just rushing forwards, chasing down those last people like hunting dogs, trying to stagger them in any way they can, and the whole team follows up and just get a chokehold right there at their spawn if they just can't break through.
Yeah, it looks like Stevenson's going to be able to hold this, actually. They are going to be able to stabilize. They are going to be able to keep them, NC State, from capping fully all the way just yet. Igor is going to be going on this flank right now. Oh, well, it's not really a flank. They are just inside. Gonna look for a hook off the map. Gonna be looking at that Venom, but he is gonna be able to grab onto that wall and keep himself alive right now. However, he is gonna be kidnapped again by Arch. Wow, and that was a really cool and an interactive experience for that Venom. The Strange Ult is gonna come through. The Kraken Impact is gonna be utilized in tandem of it. And NC State is going to be keeping up this aggression. Igor is going to... Oh, my God. The Strange Ult gets canceled from the side of Stevenson. And that's the final nail in the coffin. The Invisible Woman only gets popped, but it doesn't matter. NC State caps. You know, they lost a little bit of time. They lost, you know, they have 2 minutes and 27 seconds left. So, you know, it wasn't... They didn't cap with as much time as they started with, which is, you know... I guess that's where the bar is nowadays.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
Oh, jeez.
One of the biggest things that I'm seeing recently is just NC State is just way better at farming their ultimates and then better at using them in the team fights at the correct times, kind of spacing them out, giving each one the correct impact that it needs. Because like almost every ult they've used has landed at least like 1 or 2 kills and turn the fight. Like every strange ult has hit like 3 to 4 people. Kraken Impact gets like a few resets every time. Just every time they click the Q button, it's impactful. And that is huge in a game like this.
Yeah, and I think they're looking at Nephron's really hard right now. Has more deaths than the rest of his team combined. However, Igor is gonna be on that, gonna take over the mantle as the ace. Gonna be, you know how Captain America gave up his mantle and decided to give it to Bucky. That's pretty much what's happening right now. He is 23-1 right now. NC State is it's just so dominant from the side of the DPS right now. I think Nephron's and Igor are just doing so much for the side of NC State. And also shout out to Kane on that strange. He's not Arch obviously, because I mean it's Arch after all. But we are. Wait, Kane is also on controller. That's so interesting to me. That's so fascinating. But NC State is going to hold up close here. Gonna be trying to look for something, but they're not gonna find anything just yet. This Venom is taking so much damage and is gonna be taken out. Acclamation gonna be going down. Arch is taking so much damage, but gonna be able to stay alive right now. And Igor is able to get the kill on the Sizzy. NC State gonna keep pushing up, get these kills right in front of Stevenson's spawn. You cannot be dying here, and the Psylocke dies again. Oh my God, NC State, you can't do this. Is this allowed to be shown on television? This might have to go to live leak or something. I cannot believe I'm allowed to talk about what I'm seeing in front of my eyes.
Just an absolutely brutal showing from NC State. Just great performance everyone all around. Arch being able to come back right when he needs it. The supports being able to quickly identify who needs the healing, heal him back up to full so he can get immediately back right in there. Kidnap another person. Igor just like keeps hooking people. It's just the team is getting torn apart right now.
You remember what I said at the very beginning of this? Oh, hey, Arch goes down, actually, so that's a pretty bad pick. But you know what I said at the beginning? They did protect that Venom, so I guess they wanted to speedrun how many deaths they had. Acclamation going to swap over to that thing now. Besides, guys, that's the move, actually. Kane is going to be taken pretty low, but going to be able to stay alive right now. Nephron is able to help out, get the kill onto V on that Luna Snow. I mean, it's...
Stevenson's running a triple tank comp right now, which can work in some situations, but it does put a lot of stress on the healers to keep everyone alive. With how much damage is being done by NC State,
oh god, oh jeez. Wait, Pinkie Pie swapped over that tank. Wow, he decided to expand his wheel to include more things. The Acclamation is going to be taken out. And I mean, NC State, it's Show going to be taken out. All the tanks are gone from the side of Stevenson. They're going to have to go back to their spawn. 2 minutes left on the clock. Show is going to pop right back out of that spawn. Guys, I've got this. Keep me alive. Unfortunately, he's looking at 6 players on his screen. So he's not going to be able to stay alive unless he decides to, back up into his own spawn room. A lot of ults for Stevenson online. They do have almost 5 ults. However, NC State has got 6. So everything that Stevenson is doing, they're just doing simply better. Kraken Impact is going to come down onto that thing. Not going to be able to get that kill. Psylocke is going to be popped, and it actually looks like Igor is going to be taken out. However, Arch is able to get the kill onto Pinkie Pie on that Thor. NC State's going to give a little bit of space right now, but they do have the ultimates that they want to use if so choosing to be. Nephron's able to get the kill on the Sizzy. And it looks like NC State's going to re-engage onto this along with the aggression that they have based off of these kills. NC State, I mean, it's looking all, but looking like she's the fat lady has started singing. Honestly, I was trying to think of a funny euphemism, but I really couldn't in the moment, and that's on me.
Yeah, it's just once again, I think it's really coming down to ult usage. NC State has had their ults more often, more frequently. The Invisible Woman coming ult, all the ults popping right now. But with these support ults active, not a whole lot is going to come from it.
Yeah, we are in our kaleidoscope right now where we are seeing all ults come through at the same time. A lot of ults are going to be dropped. I think Stevenson has popped every single one of theirs. Same with NC State. Nephron's able to find 2 kills with their own ult. And, I mean, this is going to be Stevenson having to get a regroup yet again. And I guess you do have this Psylocke ult coming online, 75%. However, you also have, Igor going to have that Kraken Impact online and Chronos with that Invisible Woman ult. So we'll have to see how Stevenson want to choose to fight this unless they just want to go back to spawn. Pinkie Pie going to add hella to the collection of heroes who's played the series. Gonna be, I think that number is getting up to double digits right now, and Pinkie Pie really is just kind of, stopping between the motion. Same with Show. Gonna be on that Strange now. I guess if you can, maybe you can teleport past NC State that's playing so close. Maybe you get some bodies onto the point, but they're not gonna choose to do that. 3 seconds left on the clock. Thing is gonna run in. Igor is gonna be able to get a kill, get a reset also, and NC State's gonna full cap them, guys. I mean, this is looking pretty dire from Stevenson. You're going to have a Sisyphusian task ahead of you if you want to decide to reverse sweep this.
2, 3.
You know, as soon as I saw the strange switch from the side of Stevenson, I thought for sure they were going to try and go for a teleport play onto the point, try and fight them from behind NC State, have control of the point. They just didn't go for it. I'm just kind of confused as to why they didn't try to get a teleport. It would have been a little hard with how far up NC State had pushed. They would have probably been able to interrupt the teleport, but it's definitely worth a shot.
You know, I think maybe it's because all of Stevenson's players are playing on controllers and those buttons might be too far apart for them. But we'll have to see what Stevenson decides to go in terms of map. You know, we look at this leaderboard. Everybody on Stevenson has 10 deaths pretty much. You know, Sizzy's like, guys, what are we doing? I only have 9 deaths. 17k healing from them. So, you know, they are healing a little bit. But unfortunately, Nephron's, I mean... Igor and Nephron's 40-2, 34-3. Like, yeah, man, just put the team in the bag right now. It's looking kind of Jover.
It was a slaughter.
Hey, they got more than 3 final hits. So round of applause for that. They do have 7 now, so they're almost to double digits. A lot of damage coming through from Pinkie Pie on their menagerie of characters that they like to pick. But while we figure out our next map and while we get into our ban and protect phase, we are going to send it to a quick break. The score is 2-0, and we'll be back with more Marvel Rivals, potentially the last map, in just a couple of minutes. Welcome back, everybody, to map 3, potentially the last map in this series of NC State versus Stevenson. We are going to be going to, oh god, I can never pronounce Norse. Yisengard? Well, it's not Yggdrasil because it's like the guard at the end because it's like a different map.
It's the...
Oh
yeah,
no, it is. It is. Oh,
yeah.
you know what? My fault. That's on me. That's on me. You know, a little bit of an interesting couple of maps that we've seen come from the side of NC State and Stevenson. NC State been absolutely dominating, but we'll have to see if Stevenson can make the great, you know, the great comeback of all time with a reverse sweep potential. NC State's gonna have that first ban, gonna be banning out the Emma, you know, pretty tried and true, and the Bucky ban from the side of Stevenson. So they're now learning from their mistakes. They're learning, and so NC State is gonna not be able to have Igor on that Bucky anymore. I'm a little interested to see what comes through. Okay, Mag ban, or Mag Protect, excuse me, from the side of Stevenson. So they do want to play that Mag more from the side of Acclamation or Show.
I think it's very strong at shutting down different support ults like Moon of Snow and Cloak and Dagger. Definitely give you the advantage in fights.
Yeah, absolutely. Considering how hard it is to kill supports in ult, it is quite nice to have that Meteor Ram that can just one-tap those support ults if you so need to. We are going to see a Punisher Protect and a Rocket ban from the side of NC State, so they are going to be having Nefrons play all 3 characters that are in his hero pool. Going to be looking at the Hela, going to be looking at the the Phoenix, and then also the Punisher going to be used last. The Hela ban from Stevenson is not going to really do all too much, considering they did protect the Punisher, so that's just what Nefrons is going to run. The Jeff Protect from the side of Stevenson, very interesting to say the least. Maybe they're going to try to run another Jeff NATO combination to blow NC State away.
During the first match, the Jeff pick was one of the things that I was thinking to myself, that's something that Stevenson needs to switch.
Yeah.
They weren't getting the value with the Venom team up, and they weren't getting enough healing from the Jeff on its own. And with the Phoenix, the Jeff NATO combo is just getting immediately shut down. But I just don't think they have the flexibility that NC State does.
Well, NC State actually going to do Stevenson a favor and actually ban out that Venom. So we are not going to see any Venom on this map. Gonna, have show off of that character, and we're just waiting. Okay, Phoenix ban is going to come through from Stevenson. So they are going to target ban the DPS from NC State a little bit, but I don't think it matters all too much considering how wide the hero pool is from Nefron's probably going to be on that Punisher because Protect. I don't know what else Igor plays, but we are seeing him on the Star-Lord to start off, but maybe that's just pre-round shenanigans. We'll just have to see what's coming through. Again, pretty similar comp from the side of NC State. Going to be running the Mag Strange, going to be running the oh, well, okay, you know what? I talk and then I stop talking because Dragon is going to be on that Ultron, and Kronos is going to be hovering the Jeff, so we'll have to see what comes through. Stevenson, again, going to be running that Jeff NATO combination. Acclamation going to be on that Angela. The Punisher is going to come through from Stevenson also. Pinkie Pie is going to increase the number of characters that he's trying out for this match. We'll have to see how well it goes. Shosho going to be on that Magneto. I kind of like that skin, but the dog! The dog! I love... Dude, Bones is my favorite Marvel character. There's a comic of him meeting Spider-Man, and he's more amazed about meeting Spider-Man than he is about, traveling dimensions with, the Sorcerer Supreme, which I think is really fire.
Mm-hmm.
That is I've never seen that emote from a Human Torch, but we are going to see a Human Torch actually from Dragonfly, so we are going to get a little... Oh no, okay, all right. Just some pre-round shenanigans, pretty similar comps. Igor going to be on that Star-Lord. Stevenson... Oh, no, okay. They got off of the Punisher and decided to go to that Thor. So they are going to be on triple tanks right now with a Jeff and Invisible in backline. Igor's going to be kidnapped off rip, but not going to be able to get taken out from the Angela. Going to be taking a little bit of an off angle here. Look at that back line, but NC State could be looking at this front line now. If the back line is occupied from the side of Stevenson, they're able to get so much damage onto the side of the vanguards that are on Stevenson. In fact, this Thor is going to be a little bit out of position. Going to go down to Kane actually, and NC State is going to keep pushing, and the Jeff is going to be next to Paul. Kane is going to be able to find a 2K. Going to maybe find a third off. Oh my! Oh, nice double dink on the side of Nefron's. Wait, that was kind of disgusting, no? I mean, I know it's kind of hard to farm clips in Marvel Rivals, but that was a pretty impressive showing right there from Nefrons on that Punisher. And NC State, I think that's just the first point done and dusted, unless Acclamation decides to portal back on the point, but I don't think he's going to choose to. Yeah.
They'd already got a pretty decent lead on the ult percentages, still just trying to farm those ults as fast as they can, absolutely turn and make fights.
Oh, Pinkie Pie. Pinkie Pie gonna go down. Did swap over to the Punisher, so they're like, okay, guys, I'm off of Thor. Now I'm gonna go Punisher, guys. I'm just giving it one life. Sizzy's gonna be taken out next. NC State's gonna keep this aggression, and Nefrons gets 2 more picks on the back of that Punisher, showing why. Oh my god, so much damage comes through, and they're going to be able to find another, and that's a triple kill from Igor on that Star-Lord. Going to maybe try to find another kill. Pinkie Pie, you just got left your spawn. You cannot be going down again, and NC State is going to keep up this aggression. I feel like crying, man. I feel like crying.
I feel like there's got to be some form of communication breakdown happening on the side of Stevenson, because they are not backing up far enough to fully group up to deal with this aggression from NC State. Arch ulting, getting the ult, but kind of all getting shut down by the Jeff ult. Fortunately, it's not going to get any kills, though.
Oh my
A lot more ults coming out.
Yeah, both mag ults are going to come out. Going to be trying to connect onto something. Going to be getting the kill onto Sissy. The Punisher ult is going to be utilized from Nefron. NC State kind of popped all of their ults there, but they are able to manage to guarantee the point cap. So it is going to be a very huge and very large time bank from the side of NC State. 5.5 minutes to just pick up the third point. This is, the third part of doom, as I call it, because it is really impossible sometimes to cap this third point considering where spawns are. But we'll have to see what Stevenson wants to do. They do have 3 ults of their own. We'll have to see what Pinkie Pie, if they're able to replicate the greatness that Nefrons is able to do with that Punisher ult. I mean, I don't know. Wait a minute.
Double shield can hold pretty well at this corner, but with the flanks from Igor and just the raw damage going off from the Punisher, that might be enough to break through it.
Visions is going to be on that flank, but going to be forced out from Nefrons on that Punisher. They are going to have that Star-Lord ult online if they so choose to use it. However, NC State is still building up his ult charge. Kane's going to be already 60%, and Nefron's going to be taken out from Acclamation. That's a really nice pick for you to get. You lose a lot of your damage if you're the side of NC State. And it's going to be looking like NC State is going to have to back up here, going to have to concede some land. And Arch is taking so much damage, going to be dropping down from Pinkie Pie on that Punisher. Dragonfly is able to get the kill onto the Star-Lord on the way out, however. So it might allow NC State to get re-aggressive with that pick. Allows NC State to push up. The Star-Lord ult is maybe going to be popped here. No, just a lot of damage. That Mag ult is coming online from... It's Shosho. A lot of ults coming through from Stevenson. Gonna have that. Oh, it's a huge ult. And the heat is gonna come through, but they're gonna drop a rock directly onto the head of that Jeff. Nefron is gonna be looked at, but how Pinkie Pie pops the ult and dies. That's so terrible. Visions has this ult if he so chooses to. And it's kind of okay, Arch just opened a portal in the middle of oncoming traffic. However, Invisible Woman ult is gonna be able to save his life as Shosho is gonna go down, and Nefron finds 2 kills. And Visions is going to be trying to stay alive. Oh, they're going to block off the spawn. So NC State is going to try to guarantee.
Portaling to block off the spawn.
Actually, a 5-head play there from Arch. Going to be trying to stop everybody from leaving that spawn room. Vision is going to be out and has that ult still. But without any supports, he's going to go down. And this put. Oh, well, they are able to get out of the point right now. And so NC State, they weren't able to completely do it all the way. Nefron's going to pop their ult right now. Magneto is going to be popping over. The bubble's going to be utilized, so it's not going to be able to find anything. Igor is going to pop his ult in return. And NC State is just shredding through Stevenson's entire roster. The Star-Lord ult finally comes out, but the rest of NC State is just going to look at him, and he's going to fall by the wayside. 3 minutes and 15 seconds left, and the Shark is going to get a bullet in the head, and NC State is going to cap with a pretty dominant attacking round.
2, 3.
There's one thing that I did notice throughout the game, which is really good bubbles coming out from Kane on that Magneto. Every time Igor would dive on the Star-Lord, he'd get bubbled, able to get more damage, come back out safely. Every time someone ulted, they get bubbled. Getting targeted by Mag ult, bubbled. Ulting, bubbled. Just every time they were always on top of it. And I think that really gave NC State a lot of momentum, especially because Stevenson also had the Magneto, but was not making use of the bubbles to the same extent NC State was.
I feel like NC State is just playing so much more like a team compared to Stevenson. Like, I don't know. Stevenson loses a fight, and Pinkie Pie is the first to die, and he goes, "What's that? You guys want me to leave my spawn again? All right, sounds good to me. I'll add an extra death to my counter." It's quite interesting to say the least. I mean, NC State only going to have 3 deaths. Arch is going to be taken out, and so are both the DPS. But I mean, Dragonflies and Kronos and Kane are not going to have any deaths on their from their own accord. I mean, it's not unlosable from the side of NC State. They could definitely still lose this if Stevenson puts up LeBron James in 2018 kind of numbers. We'll have to see, if Stevenson is able to pop off. Pinkie Pie going to be running that Punisher back again, guys. Guys, this time I'll use my ult before. Oh, triple support actually from Stevenson. Maybe that'll help.
I mean, triple support has historically been pretty strong. I don't think it's the current meta right now, but it's certainly not a bad pick.
Yeah, the Punisher is able to get so much damage. It kind of is able to just kind of frontline into all of these players. NC State's going to have to go back to that corner. However, okay, Vision is going to be dropping pretty low, but going to be able to stabilize right now. Oh, Acclamation going to be taken out from Nefrons, and I mean, Igor is able to get the kill onto Pinkie Pie. NC State is going to keep pushing up right to the spawn of Stevenson, and maybe they're able to find 1 kill. Igor is going to be trying to find something to finish off, however, not going to be able to find it. Vision's going to be on the far away side, however, going to be taken out on that Mantis. Angelo Swab comes through from Acclamation. I think the problem with Stevenson is the fact that they don't actually let an ultimate go online. They just immediately swap up their comp the second that it doesn't work for one fight. We already see such a drastic swap from the side of Stevenson. The triple tank with a Psylocke, where did that come from? I mean, sure, maybe there's a reason, but you didn't give, that last comp any time whatsoever to maybe cook, maybe get their ult online. So now NC State is going to be up in ult charge on top of getting that first pick onto Acclamation, who flanks for no reason. And Igor's going to be taken inside, but not going to be taken out just yet. Oh, going to be dropping so low. Going to be taken out. Nefron's going to be able to find the kill on the V in the trade. However, the store is going to be a little bit above. Going to be trying to get looked at by Nefrons right now, but not going to be taken out just yet. A lot of space being made right now from these Vanguards. However, this Hulk is taking a lot of shotgun damage. Going to be taken out of Mech. The Psylocke is going to be looking at Punisher. However, the bubble is massive, and Pinkie Pie's going to go down. The Angelo's looking for a flank right now, but it's a day in you know, a hit scan player and playing Duck Hunt right now to get that Angelo out of the sky. And NC State is going to be keeping up the aggression. Shosho going to be taken out in that Bruce Banner form, and NC State is just going to be holding them at their spawn. And Acclamation again, going to swap over to that Magneto. You need to let your picks cook a little bit. And Shosho going to swap over to the Angela. Pick a character and stay on him, please. I mean, you're not going to get ult online.
Swapping can be a very powerful tool, but it can also be a double-edged sword a little bit, because every time you do swap, you do lose that ultimate charge. While it can allow you to counter a comp, if you do it too much, it can start being a detriment to your team. Once again, earlier we saw another great bubble saving no Nephrons once again. Kane. More support ults coming out. Chrono getting the ult, nullifying the Thor ult. They finally got a tank ult out. And Arch ulting, but Invisible Woman ults.
Oh, wait a minute. Pinkie Pie going to be going rampant in this backline right now. Going to be able to find a triple kill onto the backline of NC State. And it looks like NC State's actually going to fall by the wayside. And it's actually going to lose out this first objective. Pretty solid stuff from Pinkie Pie. You know, I apologize with your game. I wasn't familiar with it. But, I mean, now you have these ults online. And NC State did kind of commit a little bit there. They did use both of their Vanguard ults. Igor, wow, all right. They're going to go in with their ults right now. Igor's going to pop. They're all going to miss. The Meteor not going to be able to find anything just yet. Igor's going to be taken so low, but going to be low enough just in time for the Luna to be able to steal the... Oh, the Eye of Agamotto is going to come through into the market. Not going to be bought just yet. In fact, Acclamation is able to find a kill onto Nefrons, and it looks like NC State is going to be able to get back into this engagement pretty well. Dragonfly's going to be looked at by the store yet again. However, they're going to be playing Patty Cake. Shosho is able to get one, but Arch is able to get the trade onto Pinkie Pie's going to go down to Kane, and it looks like NC State is actually going to be able to hold this miraculously. 30 seconds left on the clock, and NC State have the driver's seat right now, and NC State, I mean, it's just looking like this is going to be a 3-0. Oh, jeez.
That strange teleport was something that we thought was going to happen in the previous map from Stevenson, but it just didn't come out for some reason. Art showing why that strategy is so powerful, just being able to instantly get your entire team on the point, back in the fight. And Arch even has his ult coming up. As long as too many of them don't fall here, it looks like NCSU's got this in the bag.
Oh, the Eye of Agamotto is going to finally be bought from the market that is NC State, and NC State is going to keep these kills. The Shosho is able to find 2, however. Pinkie Pie finds 2 more, and NC State might actually fall by the wayside. They are going to be taken out. It's just the supports from NC State who are coming out of their spawn, and actually Stevenson is able to manage to clutch that up and cap this point. 2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining. Wow. You know, if I had put money on that fight, I would have lost out on everything. You know, I would have lost my house. Genuinely.
It was a close fight. It was very back and forth. I wasn't sure who was going to come out on top, but the good thing is we're going to get to see more gameplay this time. So Stevenson finally putting their foot down, showing why they deserve to be here in the playoffs, finally pushing back against this force that is NC State. And let's see if they're going to be able to keep this up.
Yeah, and I think something that really benefited off of it is the fact that, you know, Stevenson didn't change all of their composition all the way. Pinkie Pie finds 2 kills with the Thor, but going to be taken out from Kane, so you are going to only be up 1 if you're the side of Stevenson. You need to get maybe 1 more kill to actually even this out. Igor's going to pop that ult, however, going to be looked at really hard from the Psylocke, going to be taken pretty low, in fact, but he's going to have the iframes to escape. Acclamation gets the kill on the Chronos, and Nefrons is going to be back. Arch is going to go down, and it looks like NC State's actually going to let this momentum get the best of them, and Stevenson is going to almost be able to get this cap. Eye of Agamotto is going to be popped. NC State is going to be looking to get any kind of value. Both Luna ults are popped. Nefrons is going to pop their own ult. Meteor M is going to come through. Going to be looking. Sizzy goes down. Meteor M is also going to be used from the side of Acclamation. Going to be looking at Nefrons, who's going to die mid-ult. However, Chronos is going to be back with their own ultimate available, and NC State is going to be able to clean these kills up. But it was actually a pretty decent fight from the side of Stevenson. However, you popped all of your ults, and that's not good at all. You know, I know that's kind of a layman's way of saying that, but that's not good in your ultimate-based game.
Yep, it's they've only got less than a minute on the clock. They almost made it to that second point, which would have given them more time, but unfortunately, NC State able to regain their footing, push up to this chokehold, where it's kind of back to the status quo of this match.
30 seconds left on line. Stevenson doesn't really have any ults. They need to just get kills in the neutral. However, with Shosho going down first to Dragonfloss, that's going to be a pretty bad pick to open up with. Stevenson's going to have to back up right now. Sizzy's going to be having that ult charge build, but are you going to actually be able to contest the point? Does Shosho have that teleport online? Pinkie Pie's going to ignore if they do have it online. 10 seconds left on the clock. Do you have the touch available? NC State's going to look. Oh, Arch gets the kills onto the backline of Stevenson. Oh, the Invisible Woman dies with ult, and NC State is going to get 4 kills. Pinkie Pie tries their absolute best. Shosho is going to be so low. Ego is going to pop their ult as a final swan song, and NC State is going to win this series 3-0. Sizzy dying with that ult is actually...
1, 2, 3.
Why? Why is the question? You know, you had that ultimate. It was your one ult that you had, and you just let it slip through your fingers. NC State just outplaying Stevenson at every single turn, and that's just going to be a clean sweep. 3-0 from the side of NC State, and we are going to advance to the semifinals.
A very great showing from NC State once again. Stevenson looked like they were starting to get their footing there at towards the end of that second match, but unfortunately, NC State, like I've kind of mentioned before, they're pretty good at adapting. They're able to regroup, repush as a team, which is something that I really noticed NC State was doing a lot better, as they were fighting as a team. Whenever they wanted to focus someone down, they all focused that person down. Whenever someone was in danger, they all helped. Whenever they were going to ult, they all coordinated around that ult. They all pushed as a team. They fought as a team. They defended as a team. And Stevenson just couldn't put up with that kind of coordination.
Yeah, absolutely. I think NC State just outplayed them at every turn. I mean, look at these medals that we see right now. Most damage, most elims, most healing, most assists coming through from the NC State side. You know, I think this is kind of looking like an Army's veterans, you know, like lapel with all the tags that they have on. Also, a lot of damage getting pumped out. Kane with 20K, Nephron's with 22K. A lot of damage is going to be pumped out from these players from NC State. And Stevenson just not able to keep up with it and going to be falling by the wayside. So that's just going to be a quick 3-0. Not much more else to say. We are going to have semifinals coming up. But for now, today, we are going to be having an interview with one of the Marvel Rivals players. So we're going to throw it to a quick break. When we come back, we will have our interview, and then we will be done for the day. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back with an interview in just a couple of minutes. All right, welcome back, everybody. We have with us the captain of the Marvel Rivals team. I am Arch. Arch, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling good. Our entire team is pretty hyped up after that match.
Yeah, you guys
Rightfully so.
pretty dominant 3-0. I mean, actually kind of a disgusting level. Were you guys like worried at all going into this game?
I mean, it's playoffs. We're always going to have some kind of nerves going into that because if we make one wrong move, then that's the end of the season. So there's obviously some nerves going into it, but we do our homework. We've done our studying beforehand, and that's the thing that we lean on.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty nice. Did you guys, have any idea what you guys were going to go into that ban protect phase? Like what specifically you were going to ban, what specifically you were going to protect? Did you know anything about what Stevenson was going to try to play?
We knew that we wanted to keep the Emma ban first, not more so that it wasn't necessarily the threat of it. It was more so that we felt like we could do better without Emma than they could without Emma. It was more so trying to cripple their team while keeping our team, I don't know, at peak. And then outside of that, it was just banning off of what they banned and protected. So if they protected Star Lord, we banned Rocket. If they protected the Venom or the Jeff, we banned the other one.
Okay.
And we knew that they were going to try to target out Owen Nephrons, and they did, but we were able to play around it.
Yeah, Nephron's had a pretty fantastic game. I mean, we've been seeing Nephron's. He might be rookie of the year this year in terms of NC State, esports as a whole. Honestly, what has it been like to play with these talented players, even though they are freshmen, as I've heard?
I mean, it's been really good. I've played for esports NC State since my freshman year, so it's going on about 3 years. I've played on 3 different teams. I've played for Overwatch, I've played for Omega Strikers, and I've played for Rivals. I mean, it's felt good. I've never had a year where I felt like I couldn't do anything on a team. I feel like we've always had decent players. This year is just an entirely different wave, though. These are all freshmen that came in, and they're all powerful, and it feels great to be able to be at the helm of this.
Well, yeah.
It's definitely something to be proud of because as like the leader of the team, you do have a lot of influence over the team, and it's been great seeing you guys actually like putting in the work, going to scrims, getting a lot of practice in. But there is one thing that I have been curious about is I've been kind of wondering how you guys handle comms because I've noticed while playing, you guys are almost entirely just like one unit. It's very fluid, very structured, and you guys all play together as a team. And I think that was one of the deciding factors in this match. So, like, how do the comms work? Is it one person? Does everyone call something out? Like, what's going on behind the scenes?
Um, Comms can be a little hectic. It is a lot of people talking all at once unless we have a clear comms call go out. We do a lot of pre-planning, like pre-fight planning and post-fight planning, where all that downtime we're utilizing that. We're calling which supports are going to ult when. We're calling what ults we're going to use together, and that's probably 90% of the team fights in this game is ult usage and knowing
Mhm.
when to use it. And I feel like that we just have a pretty good handle on that. But comms itself are a little hectic at times, but I feel like that we lock in and we get the essential ones out when we need to.
Yeah. One final question from me. Wumper, do you want to ask him anything else?
I mean, that was the main question I've had. I feel like everything else has kind of been said. So,
Okay, yeah. I just want to ask one more question, and then we will end it and let you go. Um, this tournament, these playoffs, do you guys think that you can go all of the way?
I mean, of course, I could see our team going all the way. I've seen the work that they put in. I've seen I mean, it's showing the results. We're outputting great games. Um, it's not going to be an easy fight. I definitely see some um, struggle ahead of us. But I feel like that if we keep what we're doing right now and we keep the pressure on, like we're doing our homework beforehand, we're doing everything that we need to do. And it's just whether or not we can hold that all the way to the end.
Well, there you have it, folks. That was Arch in the interview. Arch, thank you for coming out. And thank you for the interview. It was lovely having you here.
Yeah, thanks for
great
having me.
job in the
I
game as
appreciate
well.
Yeah, thank you to
really
all of y'all as well.
Yeah, really good stuff. Shout out to all the producers, all the observers for everything they did for the stream. Shout out to you folks at home. Thank you guys for watching. This has been NC State Esports. This was Marvel Rivals. I think we have a couple more games this week. Overwatch has games on Friday and Saturday. I think there is a Valorant game on Sunday, not Thursday. Sunday, not Thursday. I unfortunately won't be able to cast the Overwatch games, but I know that they will be giga bangers. And be sure to keep tuning in. Be sure to keep watching because without you folks, we wouldn't be able to do this. Be sure to drink some water, get some rest, fix your posture, and be sure to tell somebody that you love them. We will see you guys next time. Thank you for coming out.